I come to you today with a surprise tag video because they are my favourite kind of tag video. So I was tagged by staceeyreads in this. This is the You're Not Good Enough tag. And the idea is that you come up with 30 book characters, turn them into a little sort of lucky dip, and draw 2 of them out of the mug in my case, or whatever container you've chosen, and battle them against each other for each question of the tag. So let's see how this goes. You have only got 1 spot left on your spelling bee team. Who do you choose to complete the team? Let's pick some people. 1, 2. So we've got it's upside down and everything. Alice from Alice in Wonderland and Boo Radley from To Kill a Mockingbird. I feel like between the 2 of them I'd have to choose Alice, but I'd be worried there because I know that in the books Alice does try and practice spelling a few words or something, doesn't she? And she's not great at it. So I'll choose Alice, but with the full expectation that we'll probably lose. Okay, so both characters want to kill you. Who do you kill off first so that you have a better chance of surviving? So basically book character Hunger Games. Let's go. 1, 2. Got Poirot from the Agatha Christie series, Poirot, and Jon Snow. To be perfectly honest, I think what I would really like to do here is kill Poirot so that maybe I have a chance of seducing Jon Snow and then neither of us have to die and we'll live happily ever after or something like that. So I'm gonna twist this up a little bit and aim for a plot twist Hunger Games style thing where I kill Poirot and then Jon Snow and I run off together. You are on The Bachelor or Bachelorette and you're down to the last 2 characters. Who do you give your rose? The rabbit is on the table. 1, 2. So we've got, Jesus, really? Count Olaf from Series of Unfortunate Events and Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter, and clearly the answer is anyone but Olaf, really. You have been chosen for the Hunger Games. Who would be most likely to volunteer in your place? Or Hagrid, or Jane Eyre? Probably Hagrid. I feel like Hagrid is the kind of person who would volunteer as tribute for just about everyone because he's clearly just a very, very overly chivalrous Gryffindor. So Hagrid, and hopefully Hagrid would have the best chance of surviving as well, so yeah. You're stranded on an island. Which character do you sacrifice to engage in cannibalism? Okay. 1, 2. So we've got, oh no, Ranger from One for the Money, the Stephanie Plum books, and Winnie the Pooh. No. Oh, I don't want to. No. Okay, for those of you who don't know, just in case you haven't read it, the Stephanie Plum books, Ranger is like the coolest dude ever. He was like my childhood crush reading books growing up. He's like very, very cool, very badass. I mean, it's kind of like a low-key Batman extremely good looking, very cool, mysterious. To be honest, I could try and kill Ranger for the sake of, you know, eating him, using him to feed the rest of the team, but I don't think he'd let us get away with that. I have a feeling that he would kill us all instead. So, cruel though it sounds, and for valid reasons, aside from the fact that I kind of want to bone Ranger, we're probably gonna have to eat Winnie the Pooh. That sounds really sad. But you don't want to kill Ranger, that's not gonna work. I am the next DC/Marvel superhero with my own TV show. Who do I choose as my sidekick? At least I know it's not gonna be Count Olaf. Alright, so the options are Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, or Stephanie Plum from One for the Money, who is notoriously clumsy and hopeless and terrible at life, but somehow always manages to make it through to the other side. So the tough one here is like, Gandalf would be the smart person pick because clearly he's all powerful and can do all kinds of useful things. But Stephanie Plum is probably the best entertainment value pick because we'd basically just be like completely useless best friends, and it would probably make the most interesting TV show because we'd always be stumbling through life and being really bad at it, because I don't think I'd make a very good superhero. So strange though it sounds, I'm probably going to go with Stephanie. I think she'd be hilarious, and Gandalf would be too good at his job and then he'd take over and I'd be the sidekick, and that sounds boring. So what on earth? I'm a manager of an... You're a manager of an what? You are a manager of an avocado admiring company. Who would you fire for lack of communication skills? Is this about avocados or communication? This question doesn't make any sense. Anyway, here's two characters. I've got Mr. Rochester or Lyra Belacqua from the Northern Lights book. That one's obviously going to be Mr. Rochester. He's completely useless. He failed to tell anyone about his wife that he kept locked up in the attic. But if we're talking about communication skills here, it's definitely going to be him. You have just finished a book in which your favourite character dies. Who is most likely to comfort you? Again, at least we know it's not going to be Count Olaf. Liesel from The Book Thief, or Lizzie Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Probably Lizzie Bennet, to be honest. I know that Liesel is a very kind-hearted child, but she is still a kid, so I'm not sure how good she'd be at finding the right way of comforting someone. Like, she might feel in her heart that she wants to, but she might not be very good at getting the actions out. Whereas Lizzie did have to comfort Jane through all of her crap in the book, so we already know that she's pretty good at that. Alright, who would be most likely to be in the popular group at high school? 1, 2. Or NEWT Scamander from Harry Potter, or Alana the Lioness from the Alana the Lioness books, which, in case some of you guys haven't read, she disguises herself as a dude to go to night school and become a knight, and is pretty awesome. So probably Alana, to be honest. Like, NEWT is adorable, but, you know, he's kind of a nerd, so it's gotta be Alana. She was very cool. You've just found an upcoming booktubing star. Who would it most likely be? 1, 2. So I've got Dracula, the vampire, or Oliver Twist. In terms of booktube, I reckon it's... Now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know. Let's just go with Dracula. I don't know. I'd be curious. I'd be curious to see what Dracula has to say about books. Also, he's immortal, so I guess he could read a lot of books. He'd be very well read, so... yes. He wouldn't have very good lighting though, would he? If he can't see the sunlight. Oh well. It's sleepover time, and I'm only allowed to invite one person, and so only gonna invite 1, 2. J. Gatsby or Lady Audley. Okay, so just to add to how obvious it is that I'm gonna choose J. Gatsby, Lady Audley is the main character in like a late Victorian mystery-ish novel, and she murders a bunch of people, or tries to murder a bunch of people. So clearly I'm gonna choose Gatsby because A, he's not a murderer, and B, he throws really good parties. So I feel like that sleepover is gonna be pretty awesome. Bam! You're pregnant. Who is the mother or father? The question literally has the word BAM in it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I've got Tyrion from Game of Thrones, or Mara Motsway from the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. Mara Motsway is the main character of the detective agency book that I kind of went on a bit of a rave about during one of my previous book tags. It's very, very sweet and warm-hearted, and she's just a kind-hearted Botswanan woman who wants to solve crimes, and she's very cool, but I doubt she's likely to be the mother of my child, so it's gotta be Tyrion. Also, who doesn't want to have a go with Tyrion? He's supposed to be so good in bed. You've just written a super important text. Who is the most likely to read it but not reply? Is that 2? No, that's 3. That's 2. So we have Dumbledore or Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. So if I wanted to get like all deep and thinky about this, Dumbledore is pretty useless a lot of the time. He's not very good at communicating with people, so I think he would be very likely to read the message and be like, I've got Voldemort to kill and I need to go and do a dance about lemon sherbets, and forget to reply. That being said though, Treebeard is a tree and doesn't like modern world with civilization and technology, so might not even get the text message or even know how to reply. So I'm gonna say both of them. I think they're both gonna be pretty hopeless at the whole communication via text message thing. Who is most likely to forget your birthday? Sansa Stark or Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye? Probably Holden Caulfield. I think he's gonna be too busy moping around and going through a coming of age crisis to remember anyone's birthdays. So let's go with Sansa Stark. She's sweet, she'll remember. But you've woken up, it's time for breakfast, and your mum has been replaced by someone. Who is it? Last 2. Oh god, please no. I get Bella Swan, or I get the Little Prince. I don't want to choose Bella Swan because she's annoying and stuff. I was hoping she'd be a more interesting character in a previous question, but here she is at the end just trying to be my mum, and she's hopeless. But the Little Prince is a kid and he's not gonna be very good at it either, so that's a bit orcs. Let's no matter how bad a parent the Little Prince is, I am still determined not to have Bella Swan as my mother, so Bella Swan is out. So, tags going out to a novel idea, book roast, paper fairy, and Molly reads and writes. Have fun, guys. Of course, as always, if you watch this video and you would like to do it, you are also tagged. And if you do the tag, please do post a link to your video below so that I can watch it too, because I am oh so curious to watch your videos as well. Enjoy if you do decide to do it. Have fun. I had a fair bit of fun doing this, and I will see you on Thursday.